I think many players can agree that the most powerful support brawler is Kid, and yet players including myself use him more like an assassin. I've talked about him before in the past, but during that time he didn't have a hypercharge, and although he got one a few weeks back, I had no interest in buying it. Well, it's clear that's no longer the case, and I'm just going to say it, this is the most broken hypercharge in Brawl Stars. So with that said, in this video I'll be going over the hypercharge itself and possibly the best modes to use him on. Now if I ask you what makes Kid so controversial and annoying to deal with, you'll most likely say his super or maybe even cardboard box gadget, because they don't seem like things a support brawler should have. For me, his super is what makes him OP, and well, his hypercharge just so happens to make it even more powerful. So according to the description, his hypercharge allows him to stun enemies without attaching himself to them and therefore being allowed to attack and move around. It's effectively just his super, but with the ability to move around and attack, it completely changes Kid as a brawler. And you know what? I don't consider him a support brawler anymore for this reason. I would also like to mention, it only takes 8 attacks to unlock it, which is fast, and if you're really good with Kid, you could unlock it in no time. With that said, the best modes to use Kid on are of course team-based modes such as Gem Grab. In regular 3v3 Gem Grab, Kid's general playstyle doesn't change, at least in my experience, but as soon as I unlock his hypercharge, all of a sudden, it almost feels like I have an ace up my sleeve. Of course, more players know what it does now, but that doesn't mean it's any less effective. But I do think it's important to note that he can only stun one brawler at a time with his hypercharge, which is good or bad depending on your situation. At most, you can unlock it maybe 3 times if the enemy team is now very aware of their surroundings. If you want to use it in a more chaotic environment, then I recommend playing 5v5 Gem Grab, which I have to say is a lot more fun than it may seem. Once again, my strategy for Kid hadn't really changed all that much here, but I really did want to put more emphasis on his support status, and therefore I used my hypercharge to stun enemies from attacking my teammates. It was also really fun to eliminate brawlers who had tons of gems on them with the help of my team. Needless to say, Kid does great, if not better, on Gem Grab with his hypercharge. But now I would like to talk about Hot Zone. I think he does fairly decent here, but don't expect to use his hypercharge all that much. Similar to Clancy, I tended to go off to one side and try to capture the point on my own, but sometimes it didn't go as planned. It's easy to get distracted if you see that your teammates need help, which can cost you the zone if you're not quick about it. Nevertheless, it can be very engaging if you have a good team and if the map design is to your favor. But now for the last mode, I chose Duo Showdown, which might be the best way to use Kid whether you have his hypercharge or you don't. If your teammate takes advantage of you stunning a brawler by attacking and you continue to use this strategy, you might win matches every single time. Granted, not all players will be like this, but you might get lucky one way or another. So those were my thoughts on Kid's hypercharge, and yeah, it's completely broken. I don't know if Supercell is going to nerf this, if they even might, but I guess it's just one more reason to use Kid, or hate him. Anyways, have a good day.